up, gamers? I'm Jason.
I'm Julie.
And today on Dice & Dragons, we are going to be reviewing Zombicide 2nd Edition. This is, of course, published by CMON Games in conjunction with Guillotine Games. This is designed by Nicolas, Raoult, Jean-Baptiste, Lullien, and Raphaël Guiton. Almost missed that last one. Hopefully I pronounced all the names right, gentlemen. We are up in Quebec here, so I do speak some French. Now I'm going to toss it over to Julie, who's going to tell you more about the game itself.
It is a cooperative game intended for ages 14 and above. It plays 1 to 6 players in 1 to 2 hours.
Yeah, you got it dead on. And what do you think about that age, 14 plus?
I think it's an appropriate age.
You may be able to go slightly younger, but really not by much. I'd say 12. And that's really just because of the art and the depictions that you're going to see. Don't worry, we're going to go over that in the components. But if your kids like that type of art, well, you can probably go as young as you want. This is a cooperative game, so you will be able to assist them. Now, for those of you that are watching us for the first time, you can take a look down below in the video description. You will find our timestamps, so you can skip ahead to the sections of the video that you would like to see. After we do this intro, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the components and then come with our review. For those of our regular viewers, you may be wondering, where is the how to play? That's going to be coming this weekend. We actually have the game set up because we need to drive some cars and run over some zombies to still get a full grasp on the rules. But that's all I'm going to tell you right now. Julie's going to tell you a little bit more about it later. And what are we doing in this game, Julie?
Well, we're rolling some dice and trying to kill some zombies.
Exactly. And you're going to have different objectives every mission. So you'll have to meet those objectives while ensuring that all of the survivors stay alive. Now, you will need to control 6 survivors in this game. You can control less, but it might not be balanced in your favor. And a skilled player can play this solo, controlling all 6 survivors. It's not that difficult. Did I miss anything at all, Julie?
I think that's it.
If you've seen our Zombicide videos, you know what to expect. So what time is it?
It's time to grab our drinks.
Grab our best friend.
We're going to take it to the table one more time.
Yeah. You're going to drive some cars, smash some zombies.
Yeah, there seems to be a purple car with my name on it.
Oh, the purple one. Now we're going to take a quick look at the components for Zombicide 2nd Edition. We'll start with the rulebook. I really like the fact that we've got a better binding on it. You got a nice game round summary on the back. The back part of the rulebook has all the missions, and as you can see, there's a lot of different missions. And just overall, if you're familiar with Zombicide, the rulebook is well set up, easy to use, and explains everything in nice detail. And what I always do love is the the index at the back. And then everything that you need with regards to the skills is on page 66. Now we'll start with our survivors and our miniatures, just to get that out of the way first. We'll take a look at them one by one. I just placed them here. We've got our 6 survivor boards, space for your survivor card, your 2 weapons in hand, and then your inventory. Now, each survivor does have its own color and peg that you'll be using to track their different skill levels. So you can see the 6 colors that we have. The only one I don't really like is the orange, as it really, as you can see, almost matches the orange of the survivor minis. So for the adults, we've got Amy, Doug, Elle, Wanda, and Josh. And finally, we've got Ned. On the back of the card, you've got any explanation for their more complicated skills. As you can see, Ned has got 1+1 free search action, fairly straightforward. His shove skill, which he can level up to, is what we've got the details for. Now I'll put this here and we'll take a look at the kids in a moment. But here we've got the miniatures, love the detail. So here is Amy. Next we've got Doug. As always, really enjoy the details on the CMON miniatures. We've got Elle, Wanda, who's one of my favorites, especially with her sprint. Josh with Slippery, which is actually pretty cool and can come in very handy. And Ned, the guy carrying all the gear. Next, we've got the kids survivors that do have some different rules. Our how to play will be coming a little bit later. At the end of this component section, you'll see a card popping up. So if you want to skip skip over from our review to the how to play, you'll have that information. Now, we've got Tiger Sam. He's a kid. Bunny G. Lou. Astara. Lily. Odin. You notice the difference here is the amount of health they have. Regular survivors have 3 health. Kids only have 2. The difference with the kids is that they can use the slippery skill once per turn to get out of a zone. Take a look at their minis. So here we've got Bunny G. Now the kid minis are a little smaller, so I'm not as happy with the detail, but still pretty cool. We've got Tiger Sam. Actually, you can see there's still plenty of detail. I guess it was really just that Bunny G mini. Here we've got Odin. Here is Lily, I believe. Or here's Astara. I'm drawing the blank on this one, but I believe it's Lou that we've got here. I thought I maybe had them confused, but no. Pretty sure I got them right. We've got our first player token to decide who's going to be first. Well, just to make sure that we know who. And we've got the standard 6-sided dice that you'll be needing in Zombicide. We'll take a look at the deck of cards right now. So we have the gray starting cards. You're going to deal this out to each survivor. They'll each get 1. The fire axe and the crowbar can be used to open doors. And the player with the fire axe will be the starting player. Here are the new pimp weapons that you will obtain from the pimp weapon crates that are marked on the board. You also have the objectives, which are now marked on the board. So you still can summon a walker. You can get things like the automatic shotgun, the gun blade, which can be used as either ranged or melee, evil twins, golden AK-47, Zantetsuken, a nail bat, moss shotgun, a golden kukri, and the army sniper rifle that gives you the sniper ability. There are some guns now that require you to reload, which will take an extra action to reload your guns. Now here we've got our search cards, and I think this was the only one that was upside down. So just like in regular Zombicide, you'll be searching for stuff. So you can find dual weapons, sawed-offs, Molotov cocktails, chainsaws, pistols, machete, water, and a few other things that can be used to heal. Or the waters you can see will let you gain 3 action points. So there's a whole slew of different cards. Just left this at the bottom. This is the reference card for the police car and the pimp mobile. Now we'll take a look at just some of the other stuff. You got plenty of shells. You can summon some walkers, bag of rice. Lots of cool stuff that can be found. Can of food. And those are the different pieces of gear you can find while searching. And as we mentioned them, you've got the cars. So one side police, one side pimp mobile. And you may even have a pimp weapon in the back of the pimp mobile. So you'll want to check those out. We'll now take a look at the zombie spawn cards. There are 4 new spawn cards, which are the abominations. As you'll notice, we've got Patient Zero, the Abomina Cop, the Abomina Wild, and the Hobo Abomination. You notice there are some special rules for some of them. Patient Zero is your standard abomination. You can use these to alter the difficulty by deciding which abominations will be in the game. Let's take a look at what we've got here. This one looks to be the Abomina Wild that we've got. Here is Patient Zero. Was he Patient Zero or just a really scary patient? We don't know. This is the Hobo. Well, actually, with the mask there, this is the Abomina Cop. And here we've got the Hobo Abomination. And those are the abominations that we've got in the game. We'll take a look at just the Zombicide spawn deck. So you can get things like the Fatty Rush, the extra activation. So as you'll see, they'll change depending on the levels. Walker Rush. Then, of course, the spawns for runners, walkers, as normal. So if you're used to Zombicide, all of this is fairly common. It's really just the new abomination cards that mark the change. Next, we have our minis for the zombies. As you can see, we actually have 10 different walkers. They're all the same. They don't do anything different. If you did happen to get the Kickstarter, you'll have the daily zombie spawns, which do have some new rules. But we'll move up here and take a look at the minis. So this is the first miniature for the Fatty. Here's our second fatty mini. What I do like is that we are getting some different sculpts, which do add some variety to the game and the miniatures. If you wanted to paint up the game, you can really get something that looks very cool. We'll also probably make using the daily zombie spawns, if you did happen to get the Kickstarter, a little easier. So here's the runners. And I do like the fact that they're all using different colored plastic. So you can tell that the runners and the fatties are the gray ones. Probably could have done the light gray plastic for the fatties as well, but really does help with the runners, especially when you're trying to figure out your decisions on the board and if you're potentially in trouble. So nice job on all the minis. Really like the detail on the walkers as well. One day, maybe when I retire, I'll take the time to figure out how to paint, but that is a long way off. Unfortunately, just this channel keeps me busy enough as is with regards to playing games, reviewing games, so not that much time to paint and do the day job. So we're almost done taking a look at the walkers. We just got 4 left. This one's one of my favorite with the sign, the hobo type walker. I think it just looks pretty cool. Like this one that looks like almost like a medical patient. Not quite sure what that bag is. But once again, always some great detail from CMON just across the board with the minis. They've been making Zombicide for long enough now. All right, so we've taken a look at the minis. Now we'll go over what we've got here. We've already talked about the pimp weapon and the objectives. So we've got the green and blue objectives, which will be typically tied to the green and blue zombie spawns if they're in the game. We also have the number 1 spawn, just so you can know which one is your first one. The standard red spawn. And I almost forgot to show it. You also do, of course, have the exit token, the green and blue doors, which are typically tied to objectives or the spawns, and of course, the noise tokens. Now, lastly, we'll take a look at the 9 tiles that you get for 2nd edition. So here we've got tile 2V. None of these are in order, but they do make some pretty cool combinations. You've got the new dark zone spawnings, as you can see, once again, objective token and pimp weapons locations are on each of the different tiles. Like the diner, you really do get a pretty cool feel for the city. And I didn't flip that last one over. Not a big deal. You get the idea as to what we've got. I want to get on to the review, so we'll speed it up a bit and just show you the tiles. We're back to where we started. So there you have it. We've gone over all of the components for Zombicide 2nd Edition. Now, for those of you waiting for the how to play, should be coming out in a couple days. So there'll be a card popping up that'll take you to the how to play. If not, stick with us. And Julie and I will be coming back at you with our review of the game. So Julie, Zombicide 2nd Edition. What did you think of the game? And as I promised our viewers, you tell them later, what did you think about driving the cars through zombies? Something that we definitely don't have in fantasy or sci-fi.
I think that's my favorite part of the game. I don't know why. There's just something supremely satisfying about running over zombies with cars, miniature cars.
Miniature zombies.
The only thing that's missing is that they don't actually roll. They should roll.
Well, if you actually look at the tires, no, they don't quite spin. Well, the rubber will spin on them, but yeah, it'd be a lot of fun if they roll. But you know, that would be well. I guess you can go to Etsy to get an upgrade like that. And as I was saying before, I stopped myself. It just would be a lot more in the manufacturing costs.
Yeah. But it's fun because they actually do, like, they thought it out, and there's an actual cutout to put your
as you can see,
your mini in. So honestly, that was the most fun of this. I mean, I do enjoy the pimped weapons and
the pimp mobile.
Yeah, well, no, but I enjoy the fact that there are pimped weapons in this, and you know, although there's something really scary about children killing zombies with, you know, and running around with
axes, guns, baseball bats.
I mean, yeah, okay, machetes or whatever, that's scary in itself, but the, you know, like the weapons, the other weapons as well. I'm not a huge fan of zombies. I don't watch the shows. I'm not into it. So from a theme perspective, this is not my favorite. I prefer the setting in Black Horde, I think.
Green Horde
Green
and
Horde.
Black Plague. You always get them confused. Just think about it this way. Black Plague is more Renaissance Black Plague. Green Horde is taking all the cool stuff about Black Plague and making it fantasy. So then it just became Zombicide Fantasy.
Okay. So yeah, but I do enjoy the things that they've brought here, and I'm looking forward to trying campaign mode, because I do like basically getting my characters leveled up and being able to smash things.
And from what I noticed in the campaign mode, at least we've got Fort Hendricks and Washington, D.C. I don't think there are as many kid characters, at least not in Fort Hendricks. It does seem to be mostly soldiers from what I remember. So I think you'll definitely have a good time with that. Don't worry, we will be covering both of those in the future. I do think we will actually jump into Washington, D.C. Fairly shortly. We've been having a good time with this, I have to say. I really wasn't going to pick up second edition. Just from my memories of playing the first edition of Zombicide with some friends, I found Fantasy and Invader to be just a lot more fun. I still think Invader has some of my favorite rule sets with regards to the darkness rules that come with... I'm drawing a blank with one of the expansion. That was one of the hardest missions that we played. We were stuck outside. Remember, we just got swarmed with zombies. I love the way the doors work, more as a defensive mechanism, whereas in this, it's standard Zombicide. But I do feel like, as Julie mentioned, with the pimp weapons, the ease of opening doors with just the fire axe and the crowbar. Now, I might have this wrong, but I remember having to roll in the first season of Modern Zombicide. But I've heard that in Season 2 and Season 3, you didn't have to do that. So I appreciated that in this game. Could also be because we've been playing Fantasy. I just have my game confused. Like Julie, I really enjoy the cars. And I just feel like they've made this a much smoother experience. The ability to get those high-end weapons early on and know where they are on the map just lets you kill zombies, lets you open up the game and kill zombies, which is what you want to do in an Ameritrash style thematic game, which Zombicide is. I mean, it's still very reliant on the dice. There's not that many dice mitigation abilities until you get way up your character chart, depending on what character you're playing. And I'm having a good time with this. I really think it does have a place in the collection, and I really think that the campaign mode could put it over the top. This may become our favorite Zombicide. Maybe not your favorite theme, but if you like the campaign mode, maybe it's your favorite game.
Maybe. I mean, it's gonna be hard to beat the version where you have fake Wonder Woman.
Yeah, that's her favorite character in all of the Zombicides, because she takes the 2 damage weapon, and she gets to do +1 damage with everything, so she just charges abominations.
On that note, I found that's one thing that I didn't like as much about this one. It's very difficult, at least in the plays that we had, to pick up something that can kill abominations, and the abominations come up fairly frequently in this. So it can be fairly frustrating that you're just running away from the abomination because you don't have any, unless you have a Molotov cocktail, you don't really have anything to kill them.
No, as of what we've seen right now, there's nothing that can kill the abominations. And just to be clear, you do see the 3D cards, which are add-ons for the game that I picked up. We're using them for fun. We've only played with Zombicide 2nd Edition, the core box. This is a review of the base game. So if you're looking to buy it in retail, you've got all the right information that you need. We're not taking any of the stretch roll characters or weapons into account. Now, this is about half the deck of cards here. I'm just going to count it quickly just to tell you how many abominations there are. There's 2 abominations in the deck. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's about a 40 to 50 card deck. And you will be drawing based on the spawns. This map has 3 spawns, so you can get those abominations fairly quickly. Now, one thing that they do with the abominations are the different types. I do like the fact that they've had different rules for the abominations, because it also lets you scale the game a little bit more. You can exclude some of them if you want to. You can just have one, but we like to play it on hard mode with both abominations. And I have to agree with Julie, getting the Molotov cocktail is a little annoying. I'm hoping that with the stretch goals, we've got some weapons, maybe pimp weapons, that will make that just a little bit easier. Now, we may not get them every game, but I really want to be able to kill them, because in Fantasy, as well as in Invader, there are just some rules to take them out a little bit easier. Still hard, you have to have the right combination, but you're not looking for that specific draw per se. There's a little bit more variety as to what you can get. What did you think about the zombie spawn rules with the new dark zones and having those spaces that zombies don't spawn when you open up a building?
I think that adds to the ability to put a little bit of strategy into where you're going. So I did enjoy that.
Well, it worked out well for you in the last game when we need to lead zombies out of the building, because by opening the doors right here that were in the safe areas, you didn't have any zombies popping up in your face like runners. That might make that a very bad idea. Also, just some of the other quality of life things they've done is they've had the first spawn to remind you where to start the spawn, which I thought was really cool. And the boards are pretty much the same, but they've done a few upgrades here that just make it a little bit easier to lift your character cards out. And the character cards on the back, for those of you that skipped ahead and didn't watch the components, they have some of the non-obvious skill details on the back. So very cool. I really think that they've just taken this game, added a little bit to it, and cleaned up just a lot of the clunky rules that they had, but still kept it feeling like Zombicide Modern. It makes sense to me that in fantasy you got a magic sword that you can just smash an abomination in half, or in Invader you can combine fire from your 2 laser pistols to do concentrated fire and take out an abomination.
I still think you should be able to use like 2 flamethrowers or even just 1 flamethrower.
Well, for all I know, there are flamethrowers in the stretch goal box or in Fort Hendricks, or we may have them in Washington, D.C. So this is just a base game, but I do think we've got some options to murder those abominations that you dislike. I'd potentially grab one and show it on camera right now, but it's just a little bit out of reach. Other than that, what would you say is the overall experience with your plays?
I've enjoyed it. We do enjoy Zombicide. I enjoyed this one as well. I think it's a nice addition. I don't know that it beats my fantasy one, but
so what do you think? Do we need to get Western as well, or do
no,
3 of them
absolutely not. I am not a Western fan. I think that's a hard no.
And so, critiques of the game. What do you think that they could have still done better for Zombicide?
For me, it's mainly the fact that it's very random to be able to kill an abomination in this version of it.
And the one thing I would say that they still haven't found a good use for is the noise tokens. There's been very few occasions where we've really had to use the noise tokens, put them out on the board in order to figure out where the zombies are going to go. So I'd like to see, just maybe a better adaptation of that in the future, but I don't really think there's anything else that they could add. Overall, solid game. I think we're at the point where we're going to start talking in circles. For those of you that have watched the channel, you've seen us review Zombicide. You know we like it, and we like this one as well. So, Julie, what is your score for Zombicide Modern 2nd Edition?
I think it's 7.5.
I'm going to give this one an 8, and I think that it could actually go higher. I really like the quality of life improvements, and I think they've done a great job with this game. And they've got some really fun add-ons. I'm going to show the car again because I really like them. I think in terms of add-ons, if I want to talk about anything that I'm missing, is the 3D doors. I really enjoyed those in Invader. It's kind of cool just the way they knock down, but the other ones would swing in. I like my bling. What can I say?
On that note, it's time to remind you to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified when we have some new content for you.
Take a look down below in the video description to find links to all of our social media feeds: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If you'd like to see pictures of Julie and I playing Zombicide 2nd Edition, there'll be plenty on those feeds, especially with the 2 campaign expansions that will be hitting the table. There's also a ton of content in this box. I think there's almost 20 plus missions, which is very cool. Actually, that's one thing I do want to comment on quickly before I forget. Rulebook, nice binding. I like it. We're book people. So make sure to also take a look in the video description if you're looking for a copy of this game. We have a link to multizone.ca. Click that link. You'll get 10% off your next purchase, and a portion of that purchase gets returned to us. So it's a great way for you to support the channel as well. And then popping up in front of me are going to be links to in front of us will be links to our previously released videos. The one in front of me, as always, is our most recent release. And the one in front of Julie is going to be, she gets to pick what will be first. Eventually will be our how to play for the game. That'll be coming in the near future.
Green Horde.
So it'll start off with Green Horde and then turn into the how to play. Now what do we need to do?
Need to grab our drink.
Yes, our refresh drinks because we're playing the game.
Okay, keep playing games. I have a feeling we're going to be playing more of this one.
Oh, we're definitely going to keep playing games. I'm looking forward to Washington, D.C. that we even have the President's expansion. But I don't think either of us really want to play President 45.